join together for our Yavapai County Republican Women's Meeting. We ask your blessing on President Alex Harris, her staff of officers, all members and guests, the Board of Supervisors candidates, as well as all other candidates and elected officials who have joined us this evening. There is no question that we live in the greatest nation and are fortunate we can meet at peace tonight when there is so much turmoil in the world. May we continue to be the country of unity and freedom. We thank you, Father, for giving us your favor and protecting all of those who keep us and our country safe. And we say these names in our holy name. Amen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of the United States and the republic for which it stands. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Jackie, would you please join us? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you know Jackie, our warder. Jackie has been a long-time Republican woman, and she has been a true influence in Yavapai County Republican women. Jackie has been one of the founding members, and Jackie has served many, many years in the scholarship committee as their chair. This year, Jackie served her last year as our scholarship chair. And on behalf of the Yavapai County Republican women, to Jackie, in appreciation of many years of service to the Republican clubs, and specifically her years of service to Yavapai County Republican Women's Scholarship Committee, we thank you. Yavapai County Republican Women. Thank you very much, Jackie. We're here tonight for more than one reason, actually. I want to remind everybody that if you know somebody that's going in the hospital, is in the hospital, has been in the hospital, please say a prayer for them. Specifically, Sandra, Doris, Kevin, and Glenn. I think they're all putting together a Republican wing of instant outpatient surgery center. Tonight we have candidates of the Board of Supervisor for Yavapai County. Each candidate will have an opportunity of 2 minutes to introduce themselves and their campaign. Deb McCaslin will be the timer. She took that job so I wouldn't have to do it again. And Deb will let people know when their time is up. After their introduction, there will be 4 questions posed, and each candidate will have an opportunity of 30 seconds to respond to those questions. If we have time at the end, there will be questions from the audience.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you everybody for being here and giving us this opportunity to speak to everyone. My name is Sherrie Hanna, running for the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors, District 1. A lot of you know me, but for those who don't, I'm a native Arizonan. I moved to Prescott in 1963. I was raised here, went to school here, married John Hanna, who passed away in 2013. John and I had 3 children together, and I have 11 grandchildren, all of them still living in Prescott. So my oldest son and son-in-law work for Prescott Police Department, and my younger son works for Sedona Fire and is a hot shot. So the main reason that I decided to run, when I learned that Supervisor Simmons was not going to run for re-election, was the fact that since I was raised here, I was familiar with the area and the people, and I wanted to see somebody in that seat that knew exactly how to serve the people, the lifestyle that we've been having down in the rural areas and in the urban areas in the city. And I wanted that person to be able to relate to the people in all these areas and maintain that lifestyle. So I've been out, been on this journey, I call it, for 2 years. I've attended the board meetings, I've sat through 2 budget sessions, I've been with Supervisor Simmons to all the community meetings, and I've learned the issues and the concerns out in my district that all my constituents have. So I feel not only have I proven my desire to serve, I've shown my dedication to serve by doing this. So we're coming down to the end of this campaign, and I just want to thank everybody for their support. I do want to say that I am a woman of faith, and my faith is what has guided me, and it is what has sustained me all through everything that's happened in my life. So I think that's an important issue to bring up, that I will, as a woman of faith, I will consider my faith in my decision. So anyways, thank you everybody for being here, and I'll turn it over to Mr. McNab.
Thank you. Hello, I'm David McNab. I'm 4th generation in Arizona, and I've been living in Prescott for the last 18 years, and raised 3 children in this area through the school system here. And I'm a retired history teacher. I think knowing history is a real plus for doing any kind of politics, because you have a good background of what's happened in the past that didn't work, so you don't have to go through that again. So I think that's something in my favor. And then I'm running on a platform that includes deregulation, elimination of wasteful spending and jail reform, and improving the streets in places like Halden. When I was out there recently, I was appalled by the state of the streets when they get muddy, and the ruts are incredible. I mean, you just really can't even move unless you have a 4-wheel drive. County needs to own up to its responsibilities for its residents and fix those streets. I'm also support agriculture. There's a lot of agriculture in Yavapai County, and I think that we really need to support that. I support your property rights, and I will protect your property rights and your gun rights. At county level, doesn't really do much in regards to gun rights, of course, but I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment. I also am a committed Christian, and I would take every decision before the Lord before making any vote.
YCRW for hosting this forum. Appreciate that very much. My name is Oberg, and I'm running for Yavapai County Board of Supervisors, District 1. I'm a longtime resident of Yavapai County. I come from a ranching background. My dad got here in 29, so I was raised in Prescott, and I graduated from Prescott High School in 1965. In 67, I enlisted in the Army, spent 2 tours in Vietnam as a helicopter pilot, and I ended up having a career in the military of 33 years, retiring as a colonel on active duty and a brigadier general in the Army National Guard. I was recently the mayor of Prescott, and I've served on a number of boards of civic organizations in Prescott. Some of my accomplishments as mayor include initiating the building of the new airport terminal, working with 29 other mayors on the PSTRS program to try and reform it and save it for our first responders, and improving the level of care in drug rehab homes, where we were able to reduce about 200 unlicensed homes down to 34 licensed homes. If elected as mayor, my areas of emphasis will be restoring our economic prosperity, preserving our scarce resources of water, wildlife, open space, and forests, streamlining county services, improving our transportation infrastructure, and also preserving our Western heritage, culture, and value. We have a great county. We have a great quality of life here. I've got a long history here, and I'll look forward to working as your supervisor and continuing to improve on it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Wiley Cline. I'm running for District 2 Supervisor. I'm a fourth generation native of Arizona, born and raised in Gila County, just next door. I lived in Cornville for 19 years, married to my wife, Michelle. I've worked in forestry as a hotshot. I've worked in heavy equipment, construction. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. Have a ranching background like Carrie does. I was raised between ranches and the booming metropolis of young Arizona, which I think it had like 150 to 200 people when I was there. Not a very big place. But anyway, my emphasis is going to be obviously with agricultural background. I want to try to promote agriculture in our county, get it back to where it was. We need to get our kids more involved. We need to get some trade schools and some things going on in our county that will help and help retain our kids. Another thing I want to do is, there's no other way to put it, but unite the county. When you live in the Verde Valley, all you hear is this side or that side of the mountain. Well, there is no Great Wall of Millas. It's all Yavapai County, and we need to get back to that. We need to treat the county as a whole and not as individual districts. And that's going to be one of my main goals right off the bat. And that's no disrespect to our city supervisors at all. That's just how it's morphed over the years. And we've got to get it back where we're all one. And all of us need to look out for the taxpayers' dollars. One of the reasons I'm running is because I don't agree with how they're spending our money. And a lot of people don't. And we need to get it reeled back in to where it makes sense and we're not getting our taxes raised and things are getting done. Am I done? Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Jodi Rooney, and I'm a candidate for District 2. We have 21 communities in the district. It's one of the largest, and I'm grateful for Tom Thurman and the legacy that he's put forward. I can tell you I've been around the area since 2006. My husband and I have served across the county. He was the Economic Development Director in the city of Cottonwood. We worked back and forth, volunteering and helping. We will continue to serve both sides of the county. That's what I'm about. My background is transportation, and I started at the bottom and I worked my way up to leadership. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to put roads down in some of our rural communities and in some of our urban communities. That's where my strength is. And the county is about a lot of transportation. When you're talking about dealing with big budgets, I have experience in that, successful experience. When it comes to public safety, that's very important to me. I'm also about sound fiscal management, about emergency services and management, and also, as I mentioned, transportation. Knowing how to get the funding is very important. Knowing the timing of it, the rhythm, I have experience in that. As a former councilwoman for the town of Prescott Valley, I learned about the strength of working with our other communities across the county. I already have those relationships in place. I plan to use them for the good of this county, for the quality of our life, and I hope that you'll support me in my run for District 2. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jane Anderson. Most of my life, I've been a mother, a Christian woman, and a leader in my community of Paulden. I raised 5 children in Paulden, rural Arizona, so I know what it's like in rural Arizona. I've worked with homeless youth at Turning Point. I've was a 2-year president of PACO, the Fulton Community Organization. I helped Craig Brown gather signatures for the library in Fulton, which came to fruition when I was the president of PACO. But Yavapai County is so huge. You got to look out for rural Arizona. Even though all the districts have part of a city municipality in it, you got to look. It took me an hour and a half from my house to get up to the northern part of Yavapai County, Nelson. People don't realize all of Yavapai County counts with a supervisor's vote. It's not just one supervisor that can make a decision. We all got to work together, whether it's the Verde Connect, the jail, everything. You got to think of the whole Yavapai County. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting us. I've got ladies. It's very nice to be in front of you tonight. Just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to speak to everyone. I'm chairman of the board, Craig Brown, District 4 Supervisor, and basically I'm here to talk to some of my constituents, all 3 of them that are out there. So what we're talking about here is there's a lot of information being thrown out there by different candidates, and most of it's erroneous. And that's not good. I run basically on truth and integrity. I spent the last 8 years building my reputation. Most people know me, and because I go to almost everything. If I'm not there, my wife's there, that's for sure. So we spend a lot of time on different activities. I've been the chairman of SIMPO 3 times. I've been chairman of the Board of Supervisors 3 times in the last 8 years. And right now I'm the one that's guiding the county through the COVID problem. And it's a very interesting situation because we have to coordinate with other jurisdictions and with other people in the healthcare industry as well as with the state and the governor himself. So I'm pretty well prepared for this type of event since my whole background is working in systems where it's government working with other governmental entities. I think Billy Orr will tell you that you have a problem in Prescott, you can come to me, and it's not my district, but I'll work with anybody on anything. Mary Mallory, one of our current supervisors, we have joint projects going on all the time, and that's what we have to do is work together. And that's what our view is. Integrity, the truthfulness of it all, and working together. So, moving forward. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Steve Irwin. I'm running for District 5 Board of Supervisors. I recently just came off the college board. I was elected at the same time me and Deb ran together. So I have experience working on a large county organization, retired from the Army, been in the area for about 34 years. Kids, grandkids all live here. I have offices in Cottonwood, Sedona, and Prescott. So I'm very versed in the whole county as an area. I'm over in the Verde Valley a lot. Probably the thing that no one said is that I'm a candidate for District 5 that doesn't want the new jail. I don't want the new jail right now, and I certainly don't want it before they have a plan. And so that sets me apart. So if you're for the new jail, you probably don't want to vote for me. If you're not for the new jail, I have a bunch of literature out in the back of the room. You're more than happy to go take it. Let's see. Other than that, that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much for having us here tonight and the opportunity to speak to everybody here. My name is Mary Mallory. I am the current county supervisor for District 5. I have been in the position for a year now. And prior to that, I was the town councilwoman for the town of Prescott Valley for almost 9 years. I served there, I worked with the community. I also served on SIMPO, which is the Central Yavapai Metropolitan Planning Organization, with Supervisor Brown. We have done some amazing things through that. That was almost 8 years of service on that board. It's a regional board. It's dealing with roads, infrastructure in a regional manner. This job that I do and have done for 10 years now, public service, is a job of customer service. It's a job of working with people. It's a job of regional cooperation and listening to people and having clear communication. I am a customer service-based person. I am here for the people. I don't run from the people. I run to them. And I am here to take on all the tasks that are necessary to serve this community in the best way possible. Thank you.
Well, good evening, and thank you to YCRW for hosting and for you all coming out and participating and hearing what we have to say. Also, thanks to the candidates, because it does take a lot to put yourself out there, not only in your time and your efforts, but your money. So, I'm not a politician. I've never been elected. Well, that's not true. I was elected to the 6th grade class presidency of Washington School, right down here in downtown Prescott. So I've been here a long time. I've been here for 39 years, and I'm only 40, so almost all my life. I'm running because what my qualities and what I bring to the county, I think, are well suited for the board. I have experience in both the private and public sector. I've been I've been employed by the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office for the last 20 years. I'm a lieutenant there, and I'm a bureau commander in our detention services division. I've done just about everything that the Sheriff's Office has to offer in terms of our detention facility and setting, but that's not where I wanted my experience to end. My family's been in this community since the 70s, running small businesses, and I've been very much a part of that small business environment for my whole life. In fact, my first job was when I was 5. So I have lots of experience on boards and committees. I've served on multiple boards and committees in our area. A few that I would name, I'm with Alex on the Prescott Area Shelter Services Board. I serve on our Yavapai Justice and Mental Health Coalition Board. I serve in the Suicide Prevention Board. I've done quite a bit as it pertains to community service. Not just what my profession is, but on the side. My wife and I are members of Heights Church, where we have attended for the last 10 years and have been a big part of service to our community through our ministries there. Currently, we serve a young adult group. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm always long-winded.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your introduction. Your first question is, and we will start with District 2, what is the greatest threat to Yavapai County's future, and how would you address it?
Wow, have to start with me, didn't you?
Thank you. I guess I get the hard question first. To me, I would think right now is 2 things. The unknown economic impact of the COVID-19, what that's going to be over the next year or 2. Nobody knows. And another thing is our homeless youth. Everywhere I go, I hear about workforce housing or low-income housing or affordable housing or however you want to put it for adults. Nobody ever talks about our youth and how many we have homeless in this county. That's something we need to address and we need to take care of. And to me, that's a bigger priority than anything right now. And I haven't heard anybody talking about it. Oh, only 30 seconds, I forgot. Thank you.
For immediate threat, I agree with Wiley. We have the COVID situation right now, and I'm grateful for the Board of Supervisors who've been working. We don't always see everything that they're doing, but it's important. Back in the economic downturn, I served as the administrator for SIMPO, the Transportation Planning Organization. When things went down, we had to cut budgets, we had to cut our programs, defer out things. I have experience in that. That's, again, we have to take a look at that. I know that I've been following the budget for the county, and we're looking at what we can do for our employees and what we can't do right now. So knowing about the money is going to be very important moving forward because we are going to have less in our coffers. Thank you.
The biggest threat, I believe, is to Yavapai County right now is the economic threat of COVID-19 and the way it has affected the whole population. And the other big threat is that we're not retaining our youth. We have some very bright, intelligent children that we have raised in Yavapai County. But in order for them to survive and to pay off their college debt, they have to leave. And we don't get the benefits of their knowledge of Yavapai County and how to work here. Thank you.
There's a number of challenges that are coming up in the future, and one that we have right now, which is obviously COVID-19. But I do believe working together and the way things are moving forward, that we will probably have this on the run before the end of the first quarter of next year. With that, and saying that, it'll also then open up our economic situation where we're going to have a lot more revenues coming into the county and to the city so that we can move forward with some of our projects. However, I've heard people up here say that we're in dire straits. We have nothing but money problems in the county. I'm here to tell you that's a bunch of bull. Okay? Basically, this county has never been in better shape than it is today. It's actually got $20 million sitting in a rainy day fund that we only had 15 last year. We moved forward with our projects, including the jail and everything else in this budget, and are prepared to make the payments that we've negotiated out into the future. What are you cutting your head off? Did I already go over?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, there's a lot out there. One of the biggest things would be unbridled growth. That's one of the challenges we have.
And I do believe, I thank Chairman Brown for straightening us out on the budget, but we don't know how long this virus and pandemic's going to last, so that's a big concern. I have two other concerns. One, we have some drug problems in the area. I was a drug court probation officer for a long time, and so I do think that narcotics we need to look at and to address. And the other thing that's really concerning is we got a lot of people coming from California, and so they're bringing California politics. So I'm a little concerned about that too.
For me, I think the biggest threat we have, there's two things. One, of course, is the COVID-19, because every day is a different day. We're doing one thing today, and tomorrow they're going to change the rules. So that's a little bit difficult. But I think the biggest threat besides that is to try and maintain the vision and the focus on our county to maintain what we've been doing and what we have done. We've done a great job, and we need to stay focused and continue to move forward in the manner we've done. That's why Yavapai County is so great. That's why everybody's moving there.
In my eyes, the biggest threat to Yavapai County's future is, number one, our unsustainable growth that we're experiencing. Like I said, I've been here 39 years. I remember when Highway 69 was 2 lanes. I remember when Prescott Valley was jackass flats. I don't know what to say that, but we have outgrown our infrastructure, and I think that we need to catch up. And we need to have smart growth. I'm not anti-growth, but I'm for smart growth. And real quick, the next biggest thing that we're facing that threatens Yavapai County is our Republican Party. We are a retirement community, and the values that we have in Yavapai County are diminishing rapidly. You look around the room, Steven Sensmeyer is the youngest guy in here by a lot, even way younger than I am. We need to develop our party and get a younger representation.
Thank you. I agree, COVID-19, this is a path we haven't been down before, and it's something that every day brings something new to the table that we're having to face. I'm glad the county belongs to the MAX program because that encourages all the agencies in the area to belong together. But I think the biggest thing that we face is our public safety. We see what's going on in our country, around the world, and what our police are dealing with. And we need to support them and give them the resources and everything. If you don't have a clean, safe community, you can dump all your money into economic development. You can talk about growth, but if people don't feel safe, the businesses aren't going to thrive. If people don't want to come down into the community because they don't feel safe in a certain area, we need to support our police that keeps our communities safe. Thank you.
I agree with Steve. The homelessness is Wiley, brother. Homelessness is, I think, the biggest problem that we need to tackle in this county, and that's a Christian concern that we need to, as Christians, be very concerned about and see what we can do as a county to address that issue. I also think the unchecked growth that's going on is a problem that we need to address, and putting too many people in jail. Seems like we put everybody we can in jail in this county. Arizona has the fourth highest incarceration rate in the state, and our county is 25% higher than the rest of the state.
Well, my opinion right now, job one for local government is restoring our economic prosperity, and one of the things I'm concerned about is getting our businesses back up and getting jobs for everybody that wants a job. If you take a look at, the kids coming out of high schools, colleges, and universities right now, they would like to stay here, but they're having to leave because there's not enough jobs. So obviously, I think we need better jobs, and we need more jobs here of a higher quality and higher pay.
Seconds doesn't feel like very much, and it's an opportunity to really hear what your opinion is. Question number 2. Given the nation, state, and county shutdown because of COVID, what is our best financial stance on expenditures in this county, starting with Ms. Anderson? District 4.
Well, we have to tighten our budget if we need to, but we also got to remember our county employees. They work too. They work really hard. They need their merit pay, and they need their cost of living raises. We have to look at streamlining our operations, see if there's anywhere we can cut, see if there's duplications of services in any way possible. And we need to be financially responsible. If we don't have the money to build a big bridge or a new jail, maybe we need to scale them back.
Again, this information. There are 1,700 county employees. I know because I take care of them every day. What we did is we did not shut down operations in the county one bit, not at all. What we did was protect our employees. We sent some home, said work from home. We sent some to the office. We put up new structures in the office to protect them from the public. If you want to come in and have something done at the county, it takes a phone call. That's it. And they'll have an appointment for you, and you can come in and we'll treat you. You'll have to wear a mask if you come into our buildings, but we're still operating as we have. As far as the pay increase on the budget next week, there's a 4% increase for the employees as a COLA raise, 2 are coming in October, and another 2 coming in January. So we have plenty of funds. There's more funds than we ever anticipated having. Where people think there's a problem is that in March, there was when we were doing the budget, we didn't know what the projected funds coming from the state would be.
Thank you, Craig.
Sorry about that. It's so involved.
So I think the question was, what would we do for...
What is our best financial stance on expenditures in this county?
Well, I know Craig says we do have a rainy day fund. I wouldn't tap into it. we don't know what the economy is going to look like, and we don't know what the virus is going to happen. So I'm not sure what we would do other than to continue the path that we're going. Don't lay off anyone, keep our county running. And my big thing is economic development, and so that's what I want to focus on.
Well, for me, what I think is that we have done a great job with our finances moving forward. We have steadied the ship. We have been very cautious about what we have done. And as Supervisor Brown mentioned, we will be doing the COLA raises for the employees because we have a financially sound county. And so we are positively in good standing, and we are taking care of all that we need to in the manner that we always have.
So as a county employee, I think that we do a pretty good job at being fiscally responsible and fiscally conservative. Otherwise, we wouldn't have $20 million in the bank. We wouldn't have the $10.5 million CARES Act that came in to supplement the budget. And we wouldn't have a budget that has $6 million of a contingency built into it. So I think that we do a pretty good job, and we do our best to keep taxes low. So what do I think my best strategy is? Continue to do a lot of the same that we're doing. However, we have to be more efficient. We have to streamline where we can streamline, and that's where my position would be.
Thank you. I agree on the expenditures. We know that we're going to see another supposedly rise in the COVID-19. The county health department, overseen by the board of supervisors, has done a great job. They get with the hospitals, they go out to the businesses, they make sure their employees are safe, and they work together to do that. Also, I met with the department heads, and the board has asked them to cut between 5 and 15% of their budget. They're very conscious, these department heads, of the money that they are given to oversee, and they've done a great job at it. They're always looking at ways that they can reduce the waste, listen to their employees that are out in the field, take recommendations from them on how they can do a better job with less money. So the employees are very conscious, and the department heads are very conscious of what they have to work with. Thank you.
I support the pay raises for the county employees that is planned, and I think that's an excellent idea to continue. And I think they've done a very good job of being fiscally conservative. And I guess that's all I have to say.
Well, I think the one expenditure we don't need right now is $86 million for a new jail. Basically, we've had 2 votes on this in 2008 and 2014. The public spoke. They said they didn't want this jail, but right now we got a county supervisor that feels that we got to have this. I don't think we've proved that we need to have it. And the last thing we need to do is make this a jail town, because that will drive businesses out of here faster than anything. Thank you.
I agree with Harry. We don't need the jail right now. We certainly don't need the Verde Connect, which is another huge project that the board's wanting to push in the Verde Valley. I think under the circumstances right now, if I was on the board, I would vote to cancel all major projects unless they were emergencies and sit on the money that we have and see what happens. Revisit the jail, revisit lesser costs, which I have the numbers right here from the county. There's things they can do to save money that they're not. And we need to look at that, and we need to get people in there that will save them. We'll roll back the taxes, hopefully, that they put on us, the 18% last year. And that's it. Thank you, Deb.
In my career, I've worked with the county across the years. It has always been innovative and fiscally responsible. When it comes to PSPRS, throwing down more money, just like the city of Prescott did. When it also comes to the jail and roads, I hear we're having a problem with growth. But if we don't take care of that, by having these facilities in place, that's going to be a problem. So I disagree with Harry and Wiley. I believe in the jail. I believe what it brings, everything to help with our mental health facility there, and also over in the Verde Connect, over in the Verde Valley. We're going to need things for growth.
Question 3. And I just want you to know these questions came from a group of people, not just me. How are we going to manage our growing debt? Starting with Mr. Irwin.
Well, I think this topic's been talked about a couple times already. We are conservative, and I do think the county has done a good job in managing our money. But the money the county has is not the county's money, it's your money, it's the taxpayers' money. And so I think we need to be wise on how it's spent. I'm conservative by nature. Probably is where I would invest a great deal of my efforts and time is through economic development, because just like Harry and Wiley mentioned earlier, the brain drain, our kids are relocating outside the area, moving to Phoenix, because that's where the jobs are. If we brought those businesses here, guess what? We got into the tax roll, and it increases our revenue.
Well, for me, I will continue with infrastructure along with safety, flood control areas. Those are the things that you are concerned with. That is what builds our county. That's the job of the supervisor, to make sure that we have the funds to maintain the systems that are in place. There's only a few things that you do, and safety is the biggest expense of the county. So when it comes to the Criminal Justice Center that we are putting in place, it is a much needed facility that has been talked about for 10 years, and we're moving forward with it. And the sheriff, the elected sheriff, needs that. We support our elected sheriff. Thank you.
Maybe I heard it wrong, but the question was about how to manage debt, right? So, to my knowledge, with the exception of public safety, the PSPRS, and the new bond for the jail, we don't have any debt. So, and both of those have plans in place to manage that debt and pay that debt down. In fact, pay it down faster than we anticipated. So, that's how I would manage it, is continue to manage it the way we're managing it.
I would agree with Brian. I sat in those Board of Supervisors meetings. I watched the supervisors work together. They listen to their employees. They listen to each other. They have fiscal conservative. They are all fiscal conservatives. They have that in mind. They prioritize the needs of the county and listen to their department heads on what is needed, and the public. They listen to the public. They invite the public to the meetings. So they are very well informed, and they've done a good job on the debt. They've been planning the Justice Center. They determined how they were going to pay for it. If you went to the meetings and you listened to them, this was all planned out. So they do work together well and have one goal in mind. To one, public safety, what they're first and foremost charged with, and two, fiscal conservatives.
I agree with Brian. There's really no debt to worry about. It's already been managed and well planned.
First of all, we have $86 million in debt. Obviously, there's 18% out there tax to try and pay for that, but it's still a debt. We got $50 million on PSPRS. We're probably going to have another $50 million if we do this Verde Connect, because the $25 million we get from the government is not going to cover the entire building of the road. That's going to have to come from the taxpayers. So I think we need to look at not taking on government programs unless we can pay for them clearly. Thank you.
To me, the only way to manage our debt, and I understand we don't have any from Mr. Brown, but they just bonded $65 million. That's borrowing money, that's debt. So we have debt. If it was me right now, I would have voted against that bond, obviously, and I would have looked at other alternatives like they looked at in March of 2016, which was remodeling the Gurley Street Jail for $12 million. Hell of a lot less than 86 when the payout's done. I would have looked at something like that as manage your debt more and it served the purpose that you're trying to get. That wasn't looked at past that. And I have the documents right here from the county to show it. But you can't borrow money and say you don't have debt. That doesn't work. So I wouldn't be borrowing any money right now. Thank you.
I mentioned we already have a plan to pay down the PSBRS. That's good, it's working. When Harry talks about just pay for it all at once on roads, that's not how it works, folks. When we have $1 million projects, millions and millions, we segment them over different fiscal years because we take advantage, because we've been innovative, and we take advantage of the money and we bring it in fiscal years and we match it appropriately. We've done a good job with that. So many of the projects that we have here in Yavapai County are because we've segmented them across the way. We'll continue to do that.
I think Yavapai County overall, it is managed its debt because we don't have a debt until we incurred the new Justice Center, and the PRS wasn't something that we anticipated, something none of Arizona anticipated. That was thrown at us, and Yavapai County has handled it well. And in the future, we will continue to handle our debt well. But we also got to look at not trying to get too far in debt when the future is a little uncertain with the economic downturn we're in.
When you talk about debt, you have to understand what type of debt you're talking about. First of all, capital projects debt. We have about a $9 million debt for the detention center for juvenile. Everybody knows where that's at. It's where the new jail is going to be. That is a debt of about $10 million, should be paid off within the next 8 or 9 years. Okay, and there is no other debt that is based on taxes or anything else. PSPRS, we currently owe $52 million. That's a lot of money. It sounds like a lot of money, but every year we make a base payment, and then we supplement that with another $4.5 million payment to pay it down. Will it ever be paid off? The answer is not the way things are currently. Not by the city, not by anybody. Because when it gets down to the bottom, we still have people that are retired that are still going to be in that system. Therefore, we'll
Thanks, Craig.
It's only $55 million for the jail.
You're doing it. This is difficult. You know, I told him it was like herding cats when I got him up here and I said, no, you can't sit there, you gotta sit here. And I appreciate them putting up with me and Deb telling them that their 30 seconds is done. Question 4. Mr. Oberg mentioned that Yavapai County rejected the jail twice, and now we have a tax imposition of 18.2% or 18.1%, depending on what document you read. What is your position regarding that imposition of 18.2%?
Okay, thank you. First of all, the last vote that we had was not on if we were going to build a jail or not, it was how we were going to pay for it. And if you read the ballot, which I have right here, I show it to everybody, they did not understand what they were voting for. And secondly, I'm sorry, what was the second question? Oh, how the 18%. That is only 18% of your property value. That figures out to $30 per $100,000 of your property value. On a $300,000 home, you're talking $90 a year. On a $400,000 home, it's $120,000 a year. If we can't support our law enforcement, $90 a year, then we're in a lot of trouble. We need to support our law enforcement.
The 18%, no one is obviously happy about. I think I don't know what all it's going to take to reverse a jail decision because it's already been made. And I'd like to hear what the facts and figures are fiscally for doing that, because a lot of folks do not want this jail to happen. And it really doesn't need to happen if the county attorney would stop putting everybody she can in jail.
Of the 18%, what it was going to basically provide is about $4.3 million for PSPRS for 20 years, which is $86 million. And it's also going to be covering about $4.5 million for PSPRS payment down, which I agree with. I think we need to support our first responders, and paying that down is something I think we really need to do, and do it as quickly as we can. Thank you.
As a retired law enforcement officer, I assure you, I support our first responders, our law enforcement. Yeah, I do. Don't shake your head, please. I do. But I don't think that coming at us with an 18% property increase was the thing to do. I got the ballot right here too. You was either going to get a sales tax increase or a property tax increase. Those were your choices. And I don't think either one was an option. I think they should have set money aside in capital expenses and paid for it. If they've been working on it for that many years, they could have saved the money. Thank you.
This conversation has gone on since early 2000 about the Criminal Justice Facilities Center. And you know, when it comes and people are saying 18%, Sherrie's right, it was just a portion of that. So when it was on the ballot, I understood it, said, how do you want to pay for it? Because I could tell there was a need. I saw the growth already happening. When it comes to the jail, I have a $300,000 home. That's market value, but we go on the valuation. For me, that's 25 cents a day. My safety is important. That's the reason why I love living here, along with other things. I want to be safe. For 25 cents a day for a new jail, I want to put that out there for our public safety.
Nobody likes a tax increase. Nobody. Especially people that are trying to make it on minimum wage. And a lot of minimum wage people are laid off right now. The service industry is really hurting. 18% to them is a lot. And when it comes to the way that the ballot was written for the jail, nobody understood it. They didn't have a choice. They thought voting no for a sales tax was voting no for the jail. Craig just said it's a lie. No, that's the way my neighbors thought it was.
I was at the PACA meeting when I gave the
I'm
presentation.
sorry, Craig, but interrupting her is not appropriate.
I think the truth is always appropriate.
Thank you. Jenny, go ahead and finish your statement.
I'm just saying that most of my neighbors, even people that were at that PACO meeting, thought voting no to defund something was voting no on the jail. That's the way they understood it. They didn't understand that it was going to come whether they wanted it or not. And that was their only choice, was voting their opinion by saying no.
You keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, so pretty soon it becomes the truth, isn't that right? Well, that's what they're saying. There was never, ever a question of how, whether it was going to be a yes or no on a jail. It had to do with property tax and or sales tax, period. There were 3 ballot measures from 2000 on forward, and 2 of them had nothing to do with the jail, which they keep talking about. Only one had something to do with jail, and it had to do with either property tax and or sales tax. Everybody said no to the property tax, so we suggested the sales tax. Nobody listened.
I think Chairman Brown hit it right on the head. We were never asked. And I think that's what we should have been asked. Do you want to jail? If you do, where you went?
I remember as a councilwoman when Jack Smith came to our council meeting, and he had the sheriff with him, and they were talking about what they were looking at. And the question that they said to the council was that, this is a facility they were going to need to build. It would be a question on how to pay for it, and the question was to the voters, do you want to do a sales tax? If we say yes, then that'll be the way we pay for it. If we say no, then the verbiage is that we will be looking at a property tax. I remember that back in 2014, and that is where we're at today.
I told you all that I work in the jail, been there for 20 years. 2008 and 2014, when we did this, I gave those tours. I attended those meetings. I communicated that message along with the sheriff and a lot of his staff. So number one, we were never asked if we wanted a jail or not. We elect people to make those decisions for us. How many capital improvement projects do you normally vote on? You don't. So number two, 18% property tax, here's where my position is on that. I would want to repeal it and put it on the sales tax. Let's put 35% of visitors, have them pay for this, because ultimately, this is a need for public safety, and it's a need that we're going to fill.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have about 10 minutes for audience questions. If you have questions, if you'll come up to Deb, I will make sure she has a microphone.
Making a question, not a statement, please.
And again, it will be a 30-second answer.
Thank you all for coming tonight, but I guess this question would really be for the current members of the County Board of Supervisors. Well, I've heard a lot of heat tonight regarding this new jail. Whether people understood what they were voting for or not is a moot point at the moment. I agree with the gentleman on the end who never did state his name. But how would you change that? I mean, you put this into effect that we do have a tax increase. Now, can you change it? Can you make it now instead of, I'm done.
A 30-second question and a 30-second answer, starting with District 2. I'm sorry, everybody gets to answer.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't really paying attention.
I'm not a sitting supervisor. I know you had it from Mr. Brown and Mary, but she said no. She's mean. But they could look at doing something different, I'm sure. I don't know the technicalities on it. That's something they could check with the county attorney's office and see if they could. I don't know, but you can repeal the property tax increase, which does need to be done. If not all, just part of it. Thank you.
I believe what we've done is appropriate. I believe in our supervisors that we have, and I support that. But what I want to call out, what this is really about, this has come down to a pretty much one issue run. The elephant in the room is the jail. But the elephant is there because the folks here couldn't see that things were already being run pretty darn well in our county. So they've made it an issue to be able to talk about the jail, to have something to stand on, because sometimes people don't have anything to stand on. No background, no experience. So I'm calling it as it is. It's an issue that was brought forward because they didn't have anything else.
When I started running for county supervisor, I wasn't running to determine whether there was a jail or not. I feel that rural Arizona doesn't have a voice, and everything is directed towards the municipalities in Yavapai County. There's a lot of infrastructure that should be paid for in rural Arizona that is not. There's more to Yavapai County than Prescott Valley. There is more to the world than just the cities. Rural Arizona. People move to Yavapai County for a rural lifestyle. I did not run to make a determination on a jail. It was thrown up in this election, and that's what everybody wants to talk about.
All right. The way the tax went up last year was the first year there's been a tax increase in the last 8 years that I was on the board. Okay, and last year we raised the property tax rate by 22 cents. That equates out to the $30 per 100,000 assessed value. This year, it's already built into the budget. You can go pull it off of Yavapai.us, but proposed budget's in there. Take a look at it. Look at the tax rate. We're reducing it by half of what we raised it last year already. Hopefully, next year, we'll be able to do that again. So then basically that increase, that 18% that they talk about, will go away. Okay? I didn't get the tax, the tax watchdog of the year award from CTC, Citizens Tax Committee, for no reason.
Yeah, just like you can raise taxes to up by a certain limit, you can also reduce them by a limit. That's all set in the revised statutes.
We did what we had to do in order to meet the needs of this community and to keep it safe. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't possibly look at going back and looking at a sales tax. I don't know what that entails, and I'm not up here making promises, but I am saying that it is an option. I don't see why we can't look at it, but it wouldn't be, of course, this election. I think it would at least have to wait a couple of years. I hope that answered your question.
I sincerely apologize. My name is Brian Silvernale. So if I understand your question correctly, it's what can be done to change it, basically, right? So in my position, or from what I see, we're not going to be able to change it. If we do, it's going to cost us dearly. If we do what Harry and Wiley and Steve are suggesting, I'll bet you there's about $40 million that we'll never see. That's $46 million that will just be gone. And in addition to what we're going to lose by pushing this can down the road, and when prices get more expensive down there. So the only thing different that we should do is put this thing where it belongs, on a jail district sales tax that allows us another $0.25 cent.
I wish that it would have passed as a sales tax. I don't like property taxes because you single out a certain class of people to pay and carry the burden for whatever it is you're trying to build. So I support looking at the board looking at taking it back to a sales tax. That way everybody pays, even the visitors, our tourists, and sometimes they're even the ones that get put in jail. So I'm open to looking into that and taking the burden and having it shared by everyone. And I support what the board has done. Like I said, I've sat through those board meetings for 2 years and the budget meetings. They planned for it. And if you weren't able to come to the board meetings, you could have watched online or gone back to the archives. They did what they were supposed to do, and were very open about it.
I know there's definitely some less expensive alternatives than building a new jail. As was mentioned earlier, the downtown jail could be put up to federal standards at a much less price, and we always can add on to the jail in Camp Verde if that's needed. Now, really it's not needed because we're putting too many people in jail already. We need to stop doing that. But I would like, Brian touched on this, but I would like to hear the real facts and figures of what it would cost to reverse that jail decision.
Now, first of all, let me say that, I'm running on about 5 or 6 different things. One of them is right now against the jail because I don't think the populace out there, the citizens want it. They voted down twice. And I will say that I talked to one rancher and he said, I'd have a lot more respect for the board if they would have brought it back to us a second time or third time and actually explained what was going on and we could have had another vote on it. I would have a lot more respect for them. Thank you.
I've been around a long time in the Republican Party. We're elders. We do not forget, okay? Now, I remember back in the day, Sheriff Masher told myself and my club, this order, shall I say order, for the new jail came from Washington, D.C. Please explain this. Is it true or is it false? Thank you.
This question starts with District 4, Ms. Anderson.
My understanding was that the Prescott downtown jail was not up to the standards the federal government wanted. But I never saw a real good figure on how to bring it up to standard. We were always thrown that we need a new jail, a whole new facility. I feel that, yeah, but our mental health system in Yavapai County has a lot to be desired too. We need something to address that problem. It both incarceration and mental health, but we need more mental health than incarceration.
Okay, history lesson, and I'm glad you brought this up, Jackie. 1996, there's a riot in the Gurley Street Jail. A number of deputies as well as inmates are injured, and the ACLU comes in and goes, you're operating an overcrowded jail. You got people sleeping on the floor. We're going to the federal government and tell you to basically get a new jail. Okay, so the federal government came in a court. Court then put a mandate on us and said, you will build a new jail within the next 3 years. Camp Verde was built in 2000. Okay? The same thing is occurring again. We have people on the floor. We're at that level. Do we want the federal government to come in and start writing checks we can't pay? No, but that's what they do. I've seen this in Los Angeles. And there we were dealing with 30,000 inmates, not 600.
A lot of different information out there about the jail. You know, when I was a probation officer, we put people in jail all the time. And I get calls from people in my district, District 5, says, hey, my kid's in drug court. He's been in jail for 10 months. There's got to be an alternative. So I don't know who's in jail. I do know that I listen to the news 3 times a day, and I don't see the serious crimes that would justify somebody being in jail or to having our jail at maximum capacity. So the only thing I can think of, either we're renting beds out or we have probation violations, but let's get the real numbers out there. Let's see who's really in jail. Thanks.
So as Craig had said in regards to how we got the Verde jail, because the Prescott jail was in such bad shape and we had to move on to the Verde. And the sheriff is at the same point right now. He doesn't want to have to deal with that. He's being proactive. He's thinking ahead. He knows what he's going to have to do. We have a population. It is growing. And you know what? People commit crimes all the time. About 70% of them are here in Prescott. And when it comes to building a Taj Mahal of a jail, I'm just saying, we have federal government guidelines that we have to follow. They're not our guidelines, but the federal government requires certain ways of doing this. So, thank you.
So, to answer your question, the Verde jail was built because we were almost under a dissent decree from the federal government saying, yes, you have to build a jail. I worked there at that time. Right now, this jail that's being built right now is to keep the federal government from coming and saying the same thing. They're not knocking on our door right now, but they will. They have before.
Okay, so I think the answer is why we need a new jail, federal government, and our sheriff knows, he's our expert, he knows what we need. I want to address the comments that were made when we keep putting lesser offenders in jail. Well, Sheriff Masher and Sheila Polk decided that they instituted diversion programs to keep the lesser offenders out of jail, to give them diversion programs to help them, the mental health, the drug, and alcohol. But we all know and we see what's happening around the country where minor offenders, they're not charged with crimes, they're let go like shoplifting, vagrancy. What happens? They continue to do those crimes, they escalate. These are the facts. So I support law and order. Yes, we have diversion programs that have been instituted to help the mentally ill and those that need help, but the hardened criminals and people that break the law need to go to jail.
They do need to go to jail if they're violent criminals. No one disputes that. But there's a lot of people in jail that should not be there. We need to have.
Name two.
I've heard people saying we have all these diversion programs. I don't see them. I don't see them happening. And I just don't think there's much going on in that regard. We need to have real diversion programs that people can get help from and not just be stuck in a jail.
I went to the county on a records request for the federal mandate to find out what exactly happened. What I got from the county was that in 1998, the DOJ came in and did an investigation on the jail on Gurley Street and found a number of major deficiencies. Part of it was fights and some of the other things that they talked about. Basically, by 2004, all those problems had been corrected, and basically there was no further issues with the DOJ. So basically, from what I've read from what I got from a county records request is that there is no federal mandate that currently stands against the jail.
The Department of Justice absolutely regulates and mandates every jail in the United States. They have to keep them in, well, humane conditions. But I want to read you something that comes from the Board of Supervisors minutes. Director Simmons mentioned that a majority of people feel the new jail is unnecessary and they would just like to see the Gurley Street jail be remodeled. Mr. Bone stated it would cost over $12 million to restore the Gurley jail back to a usable condition. That's $12 million. They just bonded 65. I would rather spend $12 million than 65. Thank you.
Jackie, I've worked at multi-levels, local, regional, state, and I've worked in federal process. It's not just in jails, it's in housing, it's in transportation too. When something goes below the line, like our jail, they come to you and they say, fix it. In leadership, I was handed a situation in transportation, millions of dollars, because it was the feds that said, you gotta get this fixed. They said, Jodi, fix it. Here's where we have that situation. We have to fix it, because when the feds step in, as we know from transportation projects, the costs go up and the time goes out.
I want to thank you for your participation, and I want to thank all of you who took the time tonight. Let's give them a big hand. Cindy, will you and Beverly hook up? Yes. And will you draw the winning ticket on the 50-50? There is $52.50 on our 50-50 tonight. As many of you do know, the 50-50 pays for renting this room. While they're doing that, I'd like you all to give yourselves a hand and then to take 30 seconds and summarize your campaign.
Thank you. One reason I forgot to mention why I was running, because I'm very active in the community. I've been on a lot of boards and commissions. work nationally with the Congress and the Senate on the downwinders, getting the downwinders bill in. And my strength is bringing people together. Bringing people together when we have differences, as we all do. And that's my plan for the Board of Supervisors. I listen to my constituents, I listen to the department heads, and I work together well to bring people together to make decisions that have to be made, hard decisions that face our county. So I hope that you will consider voting for me. If you go to my website at hannaforsupervisor.com. If you have a question, please put it on there. I answer all my emails. Thank you.
Okay, I think that all the people here tonight are really good folks, and I think we as a county, whatever happens in the election, will be well set. And my biggest issue I mentioned before really is homelessness, and that really was brought to my attention by some of these folks here, because I wasn't aware that there was so much homelessness until I really started looking into it. Government waste, of course, is always something that we need to be vigilant about and see what we can ferret out. And I want you to know that if I am elected, I will be transparent and available to everyone in the county who would like to talk to me. My phone number will be readily accessible and email.
I want to thank YCRW for hosting this again tonight, for everybody coming, and I just want to say that my past experience gives me a lot of qualifications to step up to be the county supervisor. A lot of things that I dealt with as mayor translate directly over to the county, so I'm ready to go when I get there because I've already done a lot of experience and study when I was back as mayor. So if you want to know more about me, please go to my website at www.harryoberg.com. You'll find more about my other opinions other than the jail. And if you're in District 1, I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming and YCRW for inviting us over. I sure did enjoy it. Anyway, I'm pretty much against high-density growth. I'd like to keep our rural areas as they are rural. That's why a lot of us live in the areas we do. I'd like to watch that. Of course, I'm against wasteful spending. I'm the only one from District 2 standing up here tonight that's against raising our taxes. Jodi certainly is for raising the sales tax, which she's got a right to that opinion. Well, okay. But we shouldn't raise our taxes. There's other ways. We should spend within our means. We should set money aside. If they've been planning a project for years, you should save up for it and pay cash for it. And Ed says I'm done. Anyway, thank you.
I think what we're really looking for is fiscal conservatism, good management. I'm about the public safety. I'm about transportation. I've had background in economic development, leading leaders across the county for the Economic Development Blueprint Partnership this past year. When it comes down to it, it's really about hiring somebody that can run the county. So you will have to make that go with your future going forward. Who has the expertise, the experience, and the ability to work with others and work with agencies at multi-levels to get our county continuing to move forward. I sure would appreciate your vote. I'm Jodi Rooney for Yavapai County District 2.
I came into this race after attending the Prescott Area Leadership Program, being a graduate of Class 26, and also my experience in the Paulding area as the PACO president, the Paulding Area Leadership. And being a mother of 5 children, I see a lot of people out in rural Arizona, out in Paulding, out everywhere, that don't think that Yavapai County has an interest in what they feel or hear. And no, they're not all educated that they can read a ballot measure and decide this is going to be a property tax or a sales tax. They need somebody that's going to look out for their interests, not just the interest of Prescott, the interest of the municipalities.
Basically, the reason I'm running this 4-year term is because there's a lot of projects I want to complete. A lot of projects that I have to work with other people like ADOT. Most of the rural roads are ADOT owned and not owned by the county. And it's a very big expense when a road costs about $1 million a mile. So it's hard to work out all the different roads that need to be done around here. When you see a dirt road, it's more than likely a private road. It doesn't belong to the county. So those are some of the things we're trying to fix. But our infrastructure here in town is even worse because most of the roads are state roads. So 89A, 89, and all of those right in that area and going through town, those are state roads. So we have to work with ADOT to try and find a way to get those fixed. One of the other things that I wanted to point out, I started the library in the rural area, and I started, the library system up there. So anyway, sorry about that.
I think all the candidates had it right. This is a job. This is a job application. I'm applying. I'm asking you for the work. I think my experience being a conservative Republican, having already served on the county election, the county elected position, makes me more than capable of filling it. It's about economic development. It's about smart growth. It's about preserving our resources for future generations, whether we're talking about the Verde River or we're talking about our infrastructure. It's all about how do we grow this community and make it a nice place to live. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you very much for having us here tonight. And for me, I have 10 years of public service in District 5. And I have enjoyed every minute of it. I know my community, and my community knows me. I am boots to the ground. I'm customer service. I'm truthful. I'm transparent. I'm a leader, and I'm right in all of it. And I'm right here to answer every phone call, email that I receive. I love what I do. I love my community. And I look forward to serving another 4 years on this job. So please keep me, Mary Mallory, as your county supervisor for District 5. Thank you very much.
I'm not an elected official, but I am a public servant, and I go to work every day for this community. I bring cost-saving efficiencies to our sheriff's office. I have a proven track record of leadership in our sheriff's office. I'd like to expand that to the county as a whole and all of our departments. I ask for your support come next week when we go to the polls, if you haven't already voted, and make me the next Board of Supervisors for District 5. I have a website. It's www.electbriansilvernale.com. I'd love for you to go on there and check me out and hit me up. I'm always answering my phone. I answer all my own emails. Last thing I'm going to say is I work in the jail. I know the numbers. I know the needs. If any of you have any questions, come get with me. I'll stay around as long as I need to.
I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you for putting up with all the questions and all the time limits and running back and forth across the stage. You've been a good group of troopers.